What's up guys, Harley Loco, back at it. Today, I'm going to be installing a new motor mount, which is here, under the regulator. I have done it. I done it last week, to be honest with you. I ordered one, I ordered one, I bought one off a fella. That come in a Harley bag that was teared open. It's this one here. It's like the older style. It was meant to be a genuine Harley. It's not. I think it's a knockoff of a custom dynamic one, to be honest with you. My bike had a excessive vibration on an idle, where it was horrible at the traffic lights. So I swapped it out for this one. It stopped the idling a bit excessive. It took a lot of the vibration away at idle, but when I was slowing down the gears to come to a stop, the bike would shake all through my feet and everything with this one on. So I put the one originally I took off back on the bike, and obviously I was comfortable riding it with that. I knew it would just have some vibration when I was idling. So I bought this one off Harley, come in the post yesterday. Exactly the same as my one that's on there. So I'm going to get that fitted and guide you through it. So yeah, tools we're going to use really, apart from obviously your jacks, your lifts. 7/16 socket on an extension. That's to get your voltage regulator off 2 bolts at the front. We're going to have 9/16 spanners, 11/16 spanners, and obviously the same 2 sockets. That's just for the mount. So let's get into it. Right then guys, voltage regulator. 2 7/16s here, we'll get them off. Like so. Pull that, let it hang down. Now the mount's exposed. We will have 3 bolts in the, well, 1 through the middle of the mount, 2 to hold it onto the frame. Then up under here we have 1 there and 1 just holding behind the wires there. We don't take them all the way out. What we do, we loosen them as much as we can. That just gives us some lift, gives us a bit of room on this bracket to lift up when the engine goes up, to prise up to slide the mount out. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get all these loosened, get that loosened at the back and get them out. Right then, 9/16, and on the bottom, which is just under here, they're 11/16, so I always put one on a socket to hold the bottom. And to get these out. But then now we move on to these, well, say awkward, just a bit more time consuming than the others. These 2 here, start cracking these with a 9/16. And obviously just underneath, you have to hold them. Don't take them all the way out. Just go to the end of the thread, leave the nuts on, just so it gives us some, you know, some leeway. Like I said, that one's easy to get to. This one, it's a spanner job all the way, because obviously oil filter and that's on top. So I'm going to start getting these out now, and we'll get back in. That side's loosened how I want it to be. Now we're on this side with a 14mm ratchet spanner. So I'm going to get that one loosened to where I want it. So we put a jack in. I use a block of wood, so it's not touching any of the frame. It's just on the motor itself, so we can lift the motor. That's easy, you know, easier access to get the mount out. Now the mount, the bolt that goes through the mount, we're going to get a 9/16 on there and get that out. 9/16 on the top, 11/16 on the bottom. You'll need a spanner or a long socket because it's a long thread, so let's get that out. So then guys, what we're looking to do is, because you can't get obviously an upright jack and do this at the same time without obviously doing it on a lift where your bike's chocked in, make sure you've got the crash bar, or if you haven't got another pair of hands, someone's holding the bike. Right, another thing to remember is make sure you remove your seat, take your tank mounts out, your tank bolts, and lift it, because when you're lifting the motor, the last thing you want is anything breaking, you know, or denting your tank. So that's a must. Yeah, so what we're going to do is jack this and lift the engine up. See how much room we've got here. Touch more, I think. Make life easier. You can use a little pry bar also, you know, just to give you that extra. Trying to video this and do it is it's an easy. There we go. So that's the older one out. Here's the new one. Flat side up. Get that one back in there. There we go. That one in there. You can push down on your crash bar as well. Obviously not too hard, just to give yourself a bit more leverage. But that's the new mounting. And obviously reverse the procedure, start getting some bolts in. As soon as that's there, we'll start lowering the jack now and let it go back on the jiffy stand. Right then guys, just to get our mounts, this is the workshop manual, front mount. So, number 4, 49 to 54 Newton meters, or 36 to 40 foot-pounds. So that's for them awkward bolts at the back, the ones that we never took out. So what we're going to do, we're going to tighten them up now, get them done first. The 3 bolts that hold the mounting and the main mount bolt, we're just going to snug up, not tight, then we're going to start the bike and let the bike run for a bit. Decide to do that to let it find its comfy spot, then lock them up. So let's obviously rub this awkward one here. 9/16, get a 14mm ratchet spanner on the top, or 2 40mm, whatever you want to do, and a 9/16 on the bottom. And obviously just crank and get them wound back up. This side you can't really get a proper torque on it, spec on it, because there's no room to get in. That side you can. So we'll get into this now. Yeah, right guys, I'm going to go around and torque this up at 49 Newton meters. Guys, I'm going to get this torqued up to 49 newton meters. One click. No need to. Excuse me guys, I forgot with the voltage regulator off, this plate behind moves, so you can get the torque on this side. So we'll get that done now. There we go. Lovely. Right, then we've got them back ones torqued, so we'll drop them in at the beginning. We're going to put the nuts on the back of them. Main mount bolt, slide in. Washer and nuts on the underside the way it come off. Remember these, they're not going to be tightened up straight away because a lot of people advise, as I stated earlier, to run the engine a couple of minutes. Some people even say ride it, but I'm just going to run the engine. Let's see how we go. These are all three of these are just snug now. They're not tight at all. So while you're down here, it's in good practice. Give this a good clean degrease, because obviously doing oil changes, the oil comes all over. That's what knackers the mounts up. Like I said earlier in the video, I did change the cheaper one last week, so I cleaned it up loads. But it does get really mucky down there, obviously being behind the front wheel and stuff. So we're going to give it a start now, let it run for a bit, then we'll crank it all up to torque, to the torque spec. So let's make sure we're in neutral. So we've let that run and order for a couple of minutes. Now we're tightening number 6, number 5 and number 6. So it's got a tighten front engine mounting bracket to a rubber mount bolt, 15 to 20 foot-pounds, 20 to 27 newton meters, and it also says the same for bolt 6, so 20 to 27 newton meters. So we'll get them done. Let's get these torqued up. Voltage regulator back on. Voltage regulator nuts between 7.9 and 11.3 newton meters torque spec. And that's the regulator back and job done. Hope that helps some of you out. Like I say, it's not overly hard. It can be done, just take your time, and do not forget to undo your tank and lift your tank. That's a must. You don't want to be breaking anything under there or denting your tank or whatnot have you. So yeah, thanks for watching, and like and subscribe if it's helped you out. Thanks a lot.